A blonde prays to God for him to help her win the lottery. And she doesn't win. She prays again. God, will you help me win the lottery, please? And she doesn't win. She does it a third time. And again, she doesn't win. She says, God, I've prayed 3 times. Why haven't you helped me win the lottery? And he says, well, you have to buy a ticket first. Now, I don't actually think this joke's very funny. When I actually sort of seen the punchline coming back when I heard it the first time. That's not why I brought it up. And hopefully there weren't too many people who recognized the corny-ass joke at the onset and said, fuck this video if that's all this is. But I wanted to... but it's funny, even me being the atheist that I am, never noticed what was wrong with the joke, at least not for a while. It's funny the assumption that you make. The reason that it can resonate with you even if you don't think it's amusing. The all-powerful creator of the universe is going to intercede on your behalf to help you win the lottery. But of course you have to buy a ticket. That's just common sense. Because the way that this is going to work is you're going to buy the ticket and then God is going to affect the drawing and make the numbers that you chose come up. Rather than the drawing will be held naturally and then the winning ticket will just appear on your dresser. Now I wonder why it is that we think that. Well, it's not really a mystery at all. You see, it's because if it did happen that way, you prayed about winning the lottery and the winning ticket appeared, there would be no other way to explain that other than something pretty fucked up clearly happened here. Maybe it wasn't God, maybe it was like but it was something supernatural. Okay. But you see, if you buy the ticket and then the numbers just happen to come up, that could have another explanation. See, we live in a universe where one of 3 things is true. One is that there is no God, and that everything we witness is just natural phenomenon. The second is there is a God, but he doesn't really do shit. And then there's the third. There's a God that's always interceding in human affairs. You can like pray and ask him to do stuff. And if he has a wild hair up his ass, he might just oblige. But this was one little clause here, one little catch, one little caveat. The things you ask him for have to be potentially explainable in some other way. You want to win the lottery? That's fine, but you have to buy the ticket, you see. If you buy the ticket, then the drawing can be affected. But he can't like just generate the ticket. And so that's why you'll hear claims, oh, God helped me do this. Right? God helped me win the lottery. It could have just been the drawing, but it was totally God. You have a friend who gets cancer. God can heal him of that. You have a friend who loses an arm, God's not bringing that arm back. Okay. You see, the cancer, it's possible that he could respond well to treatment. It could go into remission. It's possible that the diagnosis might have been off. Right? But the arm, and so he might get better. And you can totally say it was God that did it. The arm will never grow back, you see. So you can't, expect that anything will ever happen there, because then there'd be no other way to possibly explain it. And then, of course, if your friend, you can pray that God will save your friend's life. But then, and he might, because it's possible somebody could just recover on their own, you see. So that has a possible explanation. So, like, God might do that. But, like, if your friend actually dies, like, God's not going to bring him back from the dead. I mean, well, he just would never do that. I mean, well, okay, like, I think in the Bible, he brought Lazarus back from the dead. And I don't know if he did any other times or not, but he might have. But he's not going to do that like today, when, we'd actually be able to verify that it really happened. Because if you're dead for a week and then all of a sudden here you are, there won't be another explanation. And God always needs that alternative explanation. God's always appearing as a face in the clouds, or in the wood grain of a door, or in a tree trunk, or here as the Virgin Mary on a grilled cheese sandwich. Why we know this is the Virgin Mary versus just some other person is not real clear, but we're just supposed to assume that it is, I guess. And believers would say, well, yeah, the bread could never have been burnt in this way. It's just so unlikely. I mean, it couldn't be random. There's no way. This has to be God. But you almost never see this. God's face. I mean, if we can assume the other's Mary, I guess we can assume this is God. A face, whatever, appearing on a car in bright yellow paint with 100 witnesses present, where there's no way it could have been anything else.